The black cats got Dave N. The white cats, they got Doug. The Google search engine has it.
We didn't have our wine today. We were going to do wine.
You've been promising that for ages.
I know. Well, I do have wine glasses, just no wine in here. I don't even have my coffee. You got the coffee. Welcome again to another Jim and Ann show. Yay!
And the topic again is how to rank well in Google. How do you achieve high rankings?
Anyone. I guess the answer to all this is you can either do stuff that's short term, and well, sometimes it's short term. You got to figure it's going to be short term, and except if you're going to cross some line that you're going to get in trouble and you're going to lose that, and you certainly don't want a brand to do that. And if you're a brand, you have to be the best brand in your industry. I guess the old Google advice is still true here, and I wouldn't recommend doing anything that can get you short time gains. And people that are getting the short term gains and doing stuff that's the quick and easy are the people that are being like, I need to be in the top 10 for this specific phrase. I need to be in the top 10 for blue widgets. And you know what? There's 99.9% of the ways that you're going to move from not into the top 10 to into the top 10 if you're physically going out of your way to try and do something. 99.9% chance that what you're trying to do is
dangerous.
Is dangerous. And so you really have to think about how do you create the world's best website and get natural mentions and create stuff which is worthy of mentions. And there is no magic bullet. You can't just be like, I'm going to submit to 100 directories, do 300 guest posts. I'm going to buy a couple of high page ranks. I'm going to do this, that, whatever. It's like those. That is such a short-term strategy that if you're a brand, you can't do all that. You can't be looking at the short tail. You got to be looking at how can we create our site better, create enough of the right type of content to be profitable, and turn our site into a better resource than any of our competitors and get more mentions and connect with more influencers and get brand signals and natural signals and the stuff that Google used to tell us years ago, and we would laugh at it and be like, it's all about exact match anchor text links. Create a great site. What are you talking about? Like that you create a great site. Who cares if people don't link to it with exact match phrases? You're not going to rank for jack. And that's not the game today. The stuff that Google recommended years ago, that's true. And if you're trying to do anything else, which is like some quick method to bring in rankings for the purpose of trying to increase your rankings on short tail phrases, it's so not advisable. It's so short term, and you're going to be effed. You're going to be effed later in the future. Like if you're thinking about long term, like everything that I mentioned, you need to be creating new things for your sites, digital assets, PDFs, FAQs, testimonials, infographics, quizzes, get in the news, get into the world record book, have a national blue widget day, do all sorts of crazy things, do stuff to get mentioned, do stuff to build the brand, connect with the influencers, become their friends, have conversations with them, write stuff on a regular basis that's written by experts that's entertaining. That's the whole thing. Entertaining. You can't just write stuff to write stuff. It has to be entertaining. That's how you're going to get real people to mention you and write to you. And things like PR, press releases. But press releases aren't just, we're going to mention that the CEO sneezed or we have a new product price or something and bury in 5 exact match anchor text links into it. Like all the press release stuff is, how do I say, it's all, if that's what you're doing, that's all crap and can get you penalized. If you have real news, like let's say you sell blue widgets and you decide, what, we're going to create the world's largest blue widget ever and get it into the Guinness Book of World Records. And so we're going to, write up a little blurb and a kind of a press release thing to to get it out there, and other people are going to like look at it and be like, oh wow, let's call up these people and talk to them, and oh my god, really, the world's largest, and it's going to be when on such date, and you're like, yeah, and you're promoting it, and you're getting other people there, and you're telling people, after you build it, you're gonna dismantle it and give everyone a little piece of that blue widget to take home as a memento, and I don't know, like you do PR and you get in the news and you get the branding, and it's like that's the stuff that it's the best way to now have the ability to rank high for blue widgets because you're doing natural stuff kind of around that topic, and there is no just let's just buy this service for X amount and press a button and get that many links or write this many articles. Like, to survive these days, you got to be so original and unique and creative and entertaining. You got to do real stuff to get mentioned, and that's the SEO trick of today. That's the link building trick of today. It's the content marketing trick of the day. Call it whatever you want. It's brand bait as well. You could call it. But the old thing that Google used to preach for years about create a great site and we'll sort it. It's really the best SEO of today is how do you create the world's best site, the world's best resource. And if you're doing those kind of things, then when Google does updates like Panda and Penguin and Phantom and all those, you're
safe.
Yeah, you're not worried. You're like, we're doing the right stuff. We're doing killer stuff that Google can't filter out, that they can't penalize, that no human is going to go in and be like, oh, you built the world's largest blue widgets. That ain't gonna. No one's ever gonna complain about it. They're gonna be like, that's freaking great. That's what we want people to be doing. We want people to be creating all sorts of great things and to be the best resource within your industry, and that's really your whole goal. And I guess the unfortunate thing is that's not cheap. It's not cheap. But, there's another way. Even though it's not cheap to do all that, if you're someone if you've got a really good writer who can build up a following and reputation and authority, that is so... Years ago, we worked with a site, and that site ended up being bought by a major brand company, and it was actually huge PR that this site was run by one guy. It's one blogger. Yeah, I don't think I should mention the URL, even though it's been many years. But that one blogger sold his site for, it was $5 million in cash and an additional $3 million in future payouts based off of what the site was earning. And it was big news at the time because it was like, wow, a single blogger. There's a guy on, what was big news last week? There was a guy on YouTube who made something like $9.7 million last year. Did you hear about that? Mm-mm. It was like and it was like a single guy who does YouTube videos, but he's entertaining. If I guess if you're a brand, you need someone that's entertaining or an expert who's entertaining it. You got to do things that are entertaining, that are going to catch people's eyes. And if you're not a big brand, then you got to become entertaining. Yeah. You can't just be like, hire some kid to blog for you. Like that's just gonna hurt you. You gotta become the expert. If you want to be the best in your field, then you gotta become the best in your field. Don't think that I'm not gonna work hard and I'm not gonna be I'm not gonna do anything, because you're never gonna build up anything and you're gonna fail. If you want to have the best website, probably a big part of that is becoming known as the expert. You and your brand, and the little guy, actually, if they're good enough and entertaining enough, and they can build big followings. Look at things like the Dollar Shave Club. I think that was that whole company took off from one viral video. Mm-hmm. There's certainly been viral things that have made companies. I've bought products because I saw them in some kind of video which has gone viral. Like, wow, I need that. There's certainly been the Will It Blend guys with blenders. There's been lots of videos other types of digital assets that have been created, where it's like you hit that grand slam and you're good to go. So it doesn't always have to be a big brand. It's certainly, if you're a smaller brand, then you got to think of how can you be better than the big brands, and there are ways. But if you don't think there's a way that you can differentiate yourself and make yourself look like the leader in that field, then you're not going to break into the top 10, because the top 10 is all about brands these days. I hate to say it, unless you're incredibly good. So to get into the top 10, you got to be incredibly good. If you want to be in the top 10 for widgets, there are blue widgets. There's no push button, quick way, number of things, exact things to do. It's over time. If you are the best, eventually you're going to be sorted in there, and the better and smarter that Google gets, the better you're going to be there. And that's kind of the game now. And certainly people will, quote unquote, cheat and get in there, and the people that cheat and get in there eventually get pulled out. People will always cheat and get in there, but you can either cheat and get in there and be like, there, I needed to be on the top page for blue widgets, and now I'm on the top page for Google widgets. Great. And then a few months later you're gonna be like, F, I'm not in the top 10. Now I got to do a disavow. Now I'm out for at least a year if I did enough. Oh, S. I won't swear during this much. All right. So, any other?
Yeah. So the bottom line is, don't invest in the shortcuts. Think about what you can do in the long term, and try to discover new channels. Go local, maybe Yelp, like anything that works for your business while you're earning your way to more reliable Google rankings that you can achieve. Don't do the shortcuts. I know that people still invest in shortcuts, and they invest good money in it, while they can redirect that effort into something that's not that fast, but it's more reliable in the long term.
Yeah, I just was thinking about, we have something which is kind of going viral at the moment right now. It's an infographic for. It is a fairly big brand, which helps. But it's a brand who, how do I say, they collect data, and they're known for collecting data. And so we go through their data and say, gee, if we pair this piece of information with this piece of information, we can create a pretty cool like an infographic about this and blog post about this, about the results of this. And so I think like once a month we put together some of the numbers, and we recently put together some numbers, did a really nice infographic, and it's getting thousands of tweets, it's getting tons of links, it's getting links from news places, and I think the only places where we had a hand in quote unquote submitting it was we got it up on Reddit and stumbled upon, but kind of from there, there are some news places that do come to us and request, hey, what do you got going on, because we help supply cool things that can go viral and are interesting as well. But in a sense, once they take off, once these things are picked up, they have their own life. Like, you kind of don't control it as much once it starts to get out there. It goes, and the better it is, and the more that it spreads, the better. I guess we help draw attention to it in some other places, but how do I say? And things like the newspaper connections are nice, but a lot of it's a surprise to us. Like, oh, look who picked it up! Oh, it was picked up by Playboy. This was picked up by the New York Times. Like, we didn't ask for those. We never pointed it out to them, but they found something cool and they referenced it, and it's really good for links and social and brand mentions, and
we're not. It's not the PR agency. We do minimum outreach, minimum, just a few people, but. Yeah.
And the stuff has to be entertaining. Like, if we give a newspaper guy, hey, here's a thing about payday loans, check out this cool infographic. They're gonna be like, I am never coming to you again in my life, you jerk SEO producing stuff for rankings. Like, no. So, the nice thing is we have big brainstorming sessions coming up with ideas of what are great digital assets that we can add to the site that are can have a life of their own. Yeah, discoverable and shareable, and entertaining, and sometimes it's educational, sometimes it's entertaining. It's all good, but if you have to keep coming up with that. It isn't for these companies like, all right, we're going to do one digital asset campaign and that's it. It's like, no, you need to be coming out with stuff on a continual basis. Ideally at least once a month you're coming up with something cool, and not everyone is. Maybe not every campaign you do is going to be huge and build thousands of backlinks, and hitting the grand slams for most people are rare. Having something go viral, and that's because a lot of people that try and come up with ideas of what they think is going to go viral is actually crap. There's a lot of crap.
Let's be honest. There is a reason.
And how do I say, I watch shows as well, like The Pitch, and people brainstorm ideas of stuff that they think will go viral, or stuff that's like so relevant to their business, like we're gonna write all about the 3 aspects of the colors of blue widgets or something like that. It's like, wow, that's really interesting to one person, you, and like no one out there in the world is gonna care about that or share that or find this to be in any way like entertaining. And so it's really, you can't just sit down and come up with ideas. Like I guess the nicest thing about our team and our guys is they're entrenched in all these places and are following everything all the time, and are making friends and connections with the right people as well. And they know what spreads and what doesn't. And that's not to say that every single digital asset that we come out with is a home run or a grand slam, but I think our percentage is probably higher than anyone else's in the industry, because we get it. We come up with great ideas, and then we actually create those, and then we market them. It's like it's all done here. And sorry to throw in stuff about how wonderful our digital asset services, but it's like we can help you, or if you're a small guy and you can't afford it, like these are things you need to be doing yourself. Quizzes and infographics and writing entertaining stuff and getting in the news for real, and you just got to think of how much crazy PR can you get for yourself, and what can you create on your site or do to get PR. That's the trick. Mm-hmm. PR, not page rank, but good press, and with good press comes good links and good social mentions.
And keep learning after each one, like do one monthly and keep learning, because like Jim said, when our guys are already, they know the stuff where those go viral, and they see what goes viral every day, so they can adapt their strategy when they're brainstorming. So that's what you can be doing too. Just keep doing, keep learning. Hey, this one went well on Pinterest, so probably I can do a similar one for Pinterest. Or this one didn't do so well, so I might do something different next time. And this one got picked up by by some news publications, so why not I connect to those journalists and say thanks for featuring me, and next time they will be more likely to feature me. So keep moving month by month.
And writing is probably one of the most important, or I don't want to say easiest way, but like and you built up your reputation through writing.
Exclusively.
I wrote a lot for years as well, and I don't write as much as I used to, even though me and Ann are writing a book together. But I used to blog a lot about link building and SEO, and I blogged for at least a year every single day, well, at least Monday through Friday. Every single day I forced myself to write every single day. And not everything I wrote was piece of art. Some of it I look back on and I was like, well, what was I thinking? And some of it was like, wow, that was pretty good, and this got a whole bunch of comments and mentions and links, and but if you keep producing, and just so long as every now and then you create a hit and you do it for long enough, with enough hits under your belt, you're looked at as an expert and an influencer, and keep doing that, and keep building in more rep to your site. And I mean, being a good influencer and writing good stuff sends in all sorts of signals of exactly what Google is looking for. Wow, you're getting trusted links from trusted people, and a lot of the people are within X amount of industry on topic, and you're getting social signals. And if your biggest competitors are like Amazon and Walmart and JCPenney and Sears and like all of those people, and you focus on selling, I don't know, like couches, you can become a great spokesman for couches and bringing in more expertise than these other companies. And it's not like tomorrow you're going to be number one for couches, but if you continue to write great stuff, you are going to move up if you do, a lot of things right. But you can become a world. The one guy who sold his blog, he was in a finance category, and he blogged about a finance topic, and became known as the expert, as well as he had some pretty good rankings, and was bought by a huge company. And there's the guy on YouTube who made close to $10 million last year just doing videos, and everyone thought that this was just some broke guy sitting around doing funny videos, and his ads on the video, the Google ads, made him almost $10 million. Suddenly everyone's like, wait a minute, you're a multi-millionaire making I thought you were just some goofy nerd making videos, but the goofy nerd eating pizza is actually making $10 million that year. So if you're great, that's great.
He wouldn't earn that much money if he just did 1 or 5 videos. That's a huge learning curve.
And if he just did one a month for a year, he never would have built up a following. I'm sure that every single day he was producing something. And
I was reading an interview with one YouTuber who comes from Russia, but she's in the United States, and she's been in top YouTube video bloggers for a few years, and she does 4 videos a day. 4 videos, and they are professionally cut, and have all these things take time. The whole day she's doing videos. It's not like you can do 1 a month and go popular. So the bottom line is keep trying and you'll be there.
Become great. Either hire people who can help to make you great,
or just become
great, or become great and hire people to make you even greater.
That's both. Works too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.